Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Mike and Olive Review Things.
My name's Olive and this is my dad, Mike.
We've taken a hiatus for a while, but we're back. We're doing our old school setup.
We're back in action.
We were doing a lot of live ones, but that took some work. We're lazy.
Yeah, we're lazy.
But it's spring break! Anyway.
You've been saying that all week.
Well, it's spring break. And so Olive and I watched something as soon as it came out on HBO Max and in theaters. Not that people are really going to theaters. No. And what was it?
Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah, Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh, I thought it was the other way.
I think it's Kong versus Godzilla. I don't think anybody's going to get confused though. So this was a movie that came out on HBO Max as well as theaters. I mean, there's not too much to explain about it. There's King Kong, which was an incredible, like one of the first really popular movies where it was like claymation, everything like that. It was King Kong. They've done so many versions of King Kong. They've done versions of King Kong versus Godzilla.
Just a giant gorilla.
It's a giant gorilla.
Just a giant gorilla.
Versus a giant lizard.
A giant lizard / Stegosaurus / T-Rex. That's what we did yesterday. Because Stegosaurus
He's a dragon. He's a kaiju, as they call it in Japan. And in the movie, they call them titans. So basically, they are giant monsters that come from Hollow Earth, which is in the middle of Earth, to either protect or destroy cities and Earth. And so I've seen all the recent Godzilla movies. I've seen all the recent King Kong movies. And this one, they battle together. What's important to know about this one is that in the last few movies, they've both been kind of good guys. They've been kind of protecting humans. So obviously, they need to figure out how to get them to fight each other. So you were like, tell them what you told me about confusing.
It's confusing.
So Olive thought it was incredibly confusing, which I explained to her, yes, this isn't spoiling anything, although I don't think this movie can be spoiled. This movie is two gigantic monsters fighting each other. You have to see it. You just, the plot line doesn't matter. But Olive was confused because, yes, the actual plot is they have to take Kong to Hollow Earth to figure out the power source.
Oh, and one confusing thing.
No, hold on. Let me explain the whole thing. But by taking Kong there, it's going to wake Godzilla up because Godzilla's natural enemy is Kong, and they're going to fight. So they have to figure out a way of getting them without Godzilla knowing, and then get the power source. And then there's an evil corporation because there's always an evil corporation.
Always.
Yes, if you talk about it like that, it's confusing. But if you talk about it this way, the movie people wanted to figure out a way for King Kong to fight Godzilla. That's all. That's all you need to know. It's not confusing at all. That's what they needed. Okay, so what were you going to say?
Well, also one thing, why can't they just go down to Hollow Earth and see for themselves instead of one of the monsters?
They explained that. They needed Kong to lead them down to Hollow Earth. There was no way.
He wasn't leading them.
He was. Yeah, I guess when it's all said and done, they know where the hole is, but it doesn't matter. None of that matters. There's incredible fighting, wrestling. It's very much wrestling. If you like WWE of 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or however,
oh, no, I'm not that old.
You're gonna like the movie. They take a lot from wrestling when it was good, of the idea that there's baby faces and heels. So baby faces are good guys, heels are bad guys, and that's how wrestling works. Well, at the start of the movie, you think both King Kong and Godzilla are both baby faces. They're protecting Earth. Well, Godzilla attacks the United States, attacks Jacksonville, Panhandle, Florida. It attacks, and so you're like, oh, Godzilla's the bad guy. They had to heel turn him. They made a heel turn. They made him bad. But then obviously you figure out the reason why. And the point is that they had to have a heel face the baby face, and then I don't want to spoil it. But I thought it was great.
Called baby faces.
That was just the term that wrestling folks, carny folks, would use to talk about which person's going to be good and which person's going to be bad. And it was a way of talking about it back before people knew what baby faces and heels were. The wrestlers could talk about it without the general public understanding what they were saying, that it's all scripted. Anyway, I really liked it. Did you like it?
I liked it, but it was, well, you know what I'm going to say, confusing. But I would watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So on our movie segments, we talk about our favorite scene.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite scene?
I liked when the girl was just near him. I just liked that, and she kept using her sign language things, and I can't believe how big Kong is, because in one of the parts, the girl and him like touch fingers, and her body is the size of his fingernail.
Yeah. So they always have to have a human interaction, connection, and so in this, it's a small girl who speaks in sign language. Her family was killed. She was adopted, and she's great. She's awesome in it. She's incredibly cute, and her interactions with Kong are amazing. And she has taught him sign language. So my favorite, I actually really like that. My favorite scene was the first fight between Kong and Godzilla on the water. Like, I think that whole scene is just awesome.
Oh yeah, you just like the fighting part.
Yeah, that's what this movie's about. That's what this movie's about. So yeah, that first scene is awesome. And the final battle is incredible. They did a really, really good job with this. It looks like you're actually watching these giant monsters fight instead of CGI, and obviously it's CGI. Who was your favorite character?
I liked...
I'm guessing the little girl?
Yes. The little girl and Kong.
Little girl and Kong.
Yeah.
I'm the same. Little girl and Kong. They did a good job of making Godzilla, like, you got to kind of root against him because Kong's so likable in this one. He really is. He's on our side as far as humans go. And I mean, there's definitely criticisms of the humans that are anytime are in these movies, but that's not what it's about. It's not. What did we not like about the movie?
Cricket. I don't know.
So I'd say the only thing that I didn't like about it is that we were kind of forced to watch this movie when movie theaters are still not open. I mean, technically, this did come out in movie theaters. I don't even know if it came out in a movie theater around us, but we have HBO Max. Like, we can watch it, and we have an awesome setup. Our setup is as good as you can get for a home audience. We have a 144-inch projection screen. Olive and I watched it the other night, and it was awesome.
In the final fight.
Well, it was almost midnight. Spring break. And so we watched it as good as you could see it.
Oh,
but I think that's the only thing I dislike about it is like, I would have loved to see this in the movie theater. This is what movie theaters are all about, and that's why I think theaters, although we're absolutely having the worst time ever because of the pandemic, I don't think they're going to go away because these gigantic spectacle movies we're going to want to watch on a 100-foot screen.
And also one thing, Penny is not here because in the first 7 minutes...
Why don't we'll get to our next segment of, Is this too scary for kids? This is a PG-13 movie. It's got fighting. It's got a lot of fighting, a lot of buildings destroyed, lots of people die. Is this too scary for kids?
Probably for kids who don't watch Marvel and Star Wars, who know that, buildings get destroyed all the time. So I don't think kids would love it, want to watch it, but if they're fine with fighting and destroying buildings, I think they would be fine.
Yeah, I'd say don't start your kids off with this movie.
No, start it with Star Wars.
There's a lot of other things that they can watch that are kind of iffy on. Maybe they'll be scared, whether it's Harry Potter or any of the Marvel movies or something like that. that have a lot of action. This is probably too scary for most kids. I was hesitant to show Olive, especially not having seen it prior. But having seen like Skull Island and Godzilla, The Last of the Monsters, I think that's the last one it was called. But Penny joined us. Penny lasted
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
And then she went
Which is funny because nothing really happened at that point. But I will say that I'm glad she left because she would have been scared. She would have had some nightmares about gorillas fighting lizards. I mean,
yeah,
and then the next day we saw that lizard that was dead in our driveway.
Oh yeah, Mikey did it.
I didn't.
Yes, you drove.
We have a lot of lizards. I accidentally drove over one. They're this big. This is my tire. I didn't see it. You're gonna get me in trouble with the ASPCA.
I don't know what that is.
Animals something.
Control.
I don't know. So the other thing I really liked about this movie was how quick it seemed to go. Do you not think so?
What?
Like ASPCA is the why is it
And you lost it.
American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. I apologize. It's a lizard. This big.
We have too many.
So yeah, I thought this movie, like, it was 2 hours long, but I felt like it flew by. I thought it was incredibly quick. That might be because I spent last week watching the 4-hour Snyder cut of the Justice League. And that felt every bit of 4 minutes.
Okay. The real time was 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 9 seconds. Exactly.
All right, what's our grades?
I'll give it an 8.5.
An 8.5? I'm giving it an 8.5 as well. I thought it was great. It's not a 10
the best movie
because
ever.
it's two monsters fighting, but it's great. I mean, it's what you want a movie to be when you just want to.
4 monsters fighting.
Well, how about 4 monsters
and how
fighting?
about we see that? It's not really a spoiler.
I know what you're gonna say is a spoiler.
Okay. How about we see that 3-headed monster? We just saw the skull of it.
Oh, I think she's talking about Mothra or something like that. Yeah, that's not really a spoiler, but you don't need to know what she whispered in my ear. Anyway.
Yeah, you also probably could.
Is there anything else we want to add about Kong versus Godzilla? I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be one of those movies that I put on and fall asleep to. Even though it's loud and everything, that's the kind of movies that I like to fall asleep to.
He likes to fall asleep to movies.
All right, thanks for watching this episode of Mike and Olive Review Things.
Hope you like it.
Thanks for watching, and we'll be back. See ya.
We'll probably be back because it's spring break.
Spring break. Bye.
Bye.